We're here today talking with business consultant Brint Driggs. Welcome, Brint, and thank you for agreeing to be here and talk with us. We are starting our series on 2009, your best year ever, and we're glad that you are able to join us.
Thank you very much.
So, as we begin the first part of our series, I thought it would be nice to sit down and talk with you a little bit personally. Can you share a little bit of your business background with us?
You bet. I have been in the business consulting business for close to 19 years, really primarily focused on leadership development and strategy, helping companies increase their revenue. In order to get there, I kind of began in the corporate world, kind of the Dilbert's, occupied the Dilbert Cube in corporate America for a number of years, and then I worked with Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, for 7 years, and then have been out on my own doing consulting for a number of years as well. So, and in the meantime, I've owned started up 3 or 4 different companies. Some have been very successful, some have been not as successful as we hoped, but so that's kind of the background in a nutshell.
Can you share with us a little bit about how your own personal business experiences have shaped who you are today?
You bet. You bet. Napoleon Hill is one of my favorite authors, and he says that every failure is a success in disguise.
Provided
that you learn something from the experience. And I think that's the thing that really inspires me, is to recognize that every life experience that you have, every situation you find yourself in, sometimes we get really caught up that they're negative or positive or whatever, but the point of the process is we're learning. And every experience that I've had in business or in my personal family life or whatever has taught me something, and I really try to focus my energies on that. And the great thing about being a business consultant is I don't have to make all the mistakes myself. I can learn kind of by proxy by interacting with companies and individuals that are running those companies and see the mistakes that they've made and see the lessons that they learned from that process and apply those. So that's really gone a long ways to help me really love what I do and be able to learn tremendous amounts from every client interaction.
So you're able to take that experience and put it into practice and help others understand those practices.
Exactly. Because I can come from one client that has just come out of a bankruptcy situation or a really difficult client situation where they really mess something up, and then without fail, within a short period of time, that same thing that we learned here is going to, we can apply that with another client and help them overcome or prevent the same kind of mistake that we had just come through with the other client. So
over the weeks, you and I have been talking, and you happen to come up with this great idea for 2009, make it your best year ever. It's interesting to me that in the face of so many people, or such difficult times, I should say, and so many people we speak with who are so negative about the state of our economy, the state of our world, and there are a lot of things to be upset about. However, what makes you different, and was there an aha moment that came to you as you were thinking, it is time to be positive? Because you're talking about opportunity and hope as we leave 2008 and go into 2009.
Yeah, first off, I don't think I'm any different than anybody, and that's the cool thing about it, is we're all the same in the basic ways. And what I mean by that is that we all have opportunities to grow.
Okay.
And we all are in situations that are tough. I'm absolutely aware that this is a very challenging economic situation. But here's the aha moment, if there was one, that I'd share with you very briefly. I was coming from a conference earlier this year, and at this conference I interacted with it was very positive, very upbeat, with people who are making literally millions of dollars a year, watched the presentations, interacted with these people personally, and there was just such a sense of optimism. On the same trip, I was sitting in the airport and I was watching a news conference on a major, television station, and the spirit it was just doom and gloom, and I happened to be somewhat familiar with the industry that they were talking about, how they'd shut down these businesses and people were going to be unemployed, and they were blaming it all on the economy and how terrible it was, and it was this victim thing, right?
Right.
And to me, the contrast was so stark and it just, to me, it just became so obvious that the news media didn't mention at all the fact that this particular industry and this particular company just really had an outdated product.
Okay.
They were not really being responsible to move with the market.
Okay.
And
so we didn't know the whole story.
Right. But the way it was cast was that they couldn't have done anything, and they were a victim of this larger problem, and some of that's true. But the piece that really kind of captured me is I contrasted it with the messages that I got from this conference and the people I interacted with, is there's a very big difference between people who are the cause of their destiny, right? They take responsibility, they take action, they take the responsibility to grow and to learn from the situation that we find ourselves in. Be it tough, be it easy, whatever it happens to be. And those who are going to take in this victim frame of reference. And that's really what I wanted to do in creating 2009 Your Best Year Ever, is say, let's create some tools and some ideas and some knowledge and some skills for people who choose to be responsible, who choose to say, you know what, this is great. Tough, but we're gonna come out of this and make this the absolute best year ever.
So we can make it a time for opportunity.
Absolutely. Now, opportunity may look very different than it did 3 years ago, but that's okay. There's people that I guarantee you, and because I know people personally that are making, that make millions of dollars a year more this year than they did last year, and it will be the same in 2009, it will be the same in 2010, regardless of the economic situation.
Okay. Well, that certainly is food for thought. And I hope you'll join us as we begin our series 2009, Your Best Year Ever. Brint Driggs will be our first presenter starting next week.
Excellent. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you for being with us.